So if you want to cut a precise shape out of blue foam, your best bet is to use a pattern. So let's go ahead and take a couple minutes to go over that procedure. So a good pattern in blue foam is going to have two stiff paper patterns, one on the top and one on the bottom. So what I've got here are cardstock patterns. This is a sheet of cardstock, and it's basically like a big index card. So you want two patterns, one on the top and one on the bottom, because if you only had one and you tried to cut this with a hot wire cutter, if you start pushing too hard, the wire is going to ride up against the paper, and then it's going to start to bend. And once the wire starts to bend, you're no longer going to have a vertical cut, a straight up and down cut. So if you have two patterns in exactly the same orientation, what happens is the bottom pattern keeps the wire from bending, and then you have a vertical cut all the way around your blue foam piece. You'll also notice that there's a 1/2 inch overhang, and the reason for that is so you can start moving the wire before you begin cutting the blue foam. That way you have a really good finish all the way around your part. These patterns are fixed to the blue foam with Studio Tack. So we'll go over the procedure for doing that in just a second. So if you look over here, you'll notice that I already have one pattern cut out. And so we're going to go through the procedure of cutting out another pattern out of cardstock. So you'll see I already have drawn the pattern on the cardstock, and we're just going to cut that out with a utility knife. Of course, we have to be careful of the sharp edge. So what we're going to do is just extend the blade a little bit, and all you really have to do is trace the pattern with the knife, and it really doesn't take much force. All you really have to do is ride the knife edge with your fingers out of the way, all the way around the pattern. Nice and careful, just tracing over with the knife. Okay, let's go ahead and get that curve right here. All right, cut the straight edge. We're going to start up here and cut all the way down, tracing right around. All right, almost done. We've just got a few more lines. And there we go. All right, so now we've got our two identical patterns. Go ahead and get this scrap out of the way. There they are. Okay, so the next thing that we want to do, retract the blade so that we don't get hurt, is we need to put some stickiness on these patterns. And so the way that we're going to do that is with some Studio Tack. So this is Studio Tack right here. And what we're going to do is, it's basically a booklet, and each page in the booklet has two sheets that are stuck together. So I'll go ahead and try to show it to you. If we go ahead and try to remove this, if we separate the sheets, you'll see one of them is covered with a lot of little dots. I don't know how well you can see them, but there are a lot of little dots, and they're sticky. And so basically what you want to do is transfer that sticky dots from the page, from the wax paper, to your pattern. And then you'll have a sticky pattern. So we'll go ahead and make sure that we lay these patterns down in the desired orientation. So let's say we want to stick that one there. And we'll take the second one. We want it to be stuck up. So we'll flip it over like this. Okay. Put the other sheet back on. So now what we want to do is kind of rub the sticky dots onto our pattern. And it helps to have what's referred to as a burnishing block. So basically this is just a piece of wood with a rounded edge, and we can use it to burnish our studio tack, which basically means just gently riding it over and really pushing all those little sticky dots onto our pattern. Okay. Then you can go ahead and peel the patterns off the studio tack page. And what you're left with is a pattern with some sticky dots. A nice sticky pattern. Let's go ahead and peel the second one off. Great. All right. So now we want to fix our patterns to the foam. Okay, hopefully you can see that there. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and use this, put the sticky side down. So I've designed these patterns so that the little edge right here lines up with the edge of the foam. And then you can see the overhang. We'll go ahead and fix that on there. We can use our burnishing tool again to really stick that pattern to the blue foam. And now we want to put the second pattern on. And there are a few features we can line up against. We can line up against the overhang, and so that way we'll make sure that the pattern lines up. And the other side of the pattern that goes up against the edge of the blue foam, we can also check to make sure that's lined up. So we'll go ahead and put a little preliminary stick on there. Make sure we line up these edges. Double check that the other edge is lined up. Okay, that looks good right there. So we'll go ahead and fix that down. And we'll use our burnishing tool. And there you have it. Now your foam is ready for the hot wire cutter.